The roadside shoes. The shoes appeared overnight. A pair of small blue sneakers placed neatly beside a lonely stretch of highway. At first, nobody paid much attention. People lose things all the time. A dropped backpack, a broken bicycle, an abandoned car. But these shoes were different. They weren't dirty, they weren't damaged, and they looked as though someone had carefully placed them there. Then another pair appeared, and another. Within 6 months, more than 40 pairs of shoes had been discovered along the same section of road. No one knew who left them. No one knew why. And when investigators began looking for answers, they uncovered a mystery stretching back nearly 20 years. This is the story of the roadside shoes. Route 18 cut through miles of isolated countryside. Long stretches of road passed through forests, fields, and abandoned farmland. The nearest town sat nearly 20 miles away. Especially after dark, most drivers used the highway without giving it a second thought, until reports of the shoes began appearing online. The first documented sighting occurred in March of 2022. A truck driver noticed a pair of children's sneakers sitting beside a guardrail. The shoes appeared almost new. Their laces were tied together. The driver assumed they had fallen from a vehicle. Days later, the shoes remained exactly where they had been. Then, a second pair appeared less than half a mile away. As reports increased, local residents began documenting the locations. A strange pattern emerged. Every pair was discovered within a 7-mile section of highway. No exceptions. The shoes varied in size, style, color, but they shared one unusual detail. Every pair had been carefully arranged. Some stood side by side. Others pointed toward the forest. Several faced directly toward the road, almost as if they had been positioned deliberately. One of the people following the mystery was elementary school teacher Sarah Nolan. Sarah drove Route 18 every day. Initially, she viewed the story as little more than local curiosity. Then she noticed something unsettling. One pair resembled shoes belonging to a former student who had disappeared years earlier. The resemblance could have been coincidence, but it motivated her to research local missing persons cases. What she found disturbed her. Over the previous 2 decades, 6 children had disappeared within 50 miles of Route 18. Most cases remained unsolved. Investigators never established any connection between them. Different years, different circumstances, different families. Yet several disappearances occurred surprisingly close to the highway. The discovery reignited public interest. Soon, social media users began comparing photographs. Theories spread rapidly. Were the shoes connected to the missing children, or was someone deliberately creating that impression? A breakthrough seemed possible when transportation officials reviewed traffic cameras. One camera overlooked a section of road where a pair of shoes had recently appeared. Footage revealed something strange. At approximately 2:13 a.m., the camera briefly lost signal. The interruption lasted only 12 seconds. When the image returned, the shoes were there. The road appeared empty throughout the entire recording. No vehicles, no pedestrians, nothing. Yet somehow the shoes had appeared. Months later, highway maintenance worker Daniel Reeves discovered an old notebook hidden inside a drainage culvert. Most pages were damaged. Several entries remained readable. The writer never identified themselves. But one passage attracted immediate attention. It read, "They leave the shoes so they won't be forgotten." No explanation followed. The notebook contained no names, no dates, only fragments of strange observations.
The mystery deepened when an elderly woman came forward. She claimed that nearly 20 years earlier, she had encountered a frightened child at a gas station located near Route 18. The child appeared alone. Before she could intervene, a vehicle arrived. The child entered willingly and disappeared. At the time, nothing seemed unusual. But years later, after seeing news coverage of the roadside shoes, she became convinced the child resembled one of the missing persons featured in local reports. Police investigated the claim. No evidence confirmed it, yet the timing was difficult to ignore. Volunteers eventually organized a large-scale search of the woods bordering the highway. Hundreds of acres were examined. Search teams discovered abandoned campsites, old structures, discarded belongings, nothing directly linked to the shoes. Then one team made an unexpected discovery. Deep within the forest stood a small memorial, weathered by time, partially hidden by vegetation. Dozens of old shoes surrounded a stone marker. No name appeared on the marker. No dates, nothing, only shoes. Among the items recovered near the memorial was a faded photograph. The image showed several children standing together beside Route 18. Investigators estimated the photograph had been taken in the late 1990s. One child stood apart from the others, wearing bright blue sneakers, the same style as the first pair discovered along the highway. Despite extensive efforts, none of the children in the photograph were ever identified. Then came the event that transformed a local mystery into a national story. A police officer patrolling the highway spotted a fresh pair of shoes shortly before dawn. Believing someone might be nearby, he stopped to investigate. According to his report, the shoes appeared completely dry despite heavy rain. He photographed them, collected them, and placed them in his vehicle. Hours later, when he opened the evidence bag, the shoes were gone. The bag remained sealed. Nothing else inside had been disturbed. The shoes were never found. Months after the incident, Sarah Nolan made one final discovery. While examining archived newspaper records, she located an article from 1984. The article described a roadside memorial created after a school bus accident. Several children had died near Route 18. Grieving families left flowers, photographs, and shoes. The memorial eventually disappeared. The location matched the exact stretch of highway where the mysterious shoes continued appearing. For many, the discovery offered a logical explanation, but not everyone was convinced, because some of the shoes found beside the road had been manufactured decades after the accident. Today, the mystery remains unsolved. New pairs of shoes continue appearing from time to time. No one has ever been caught placing them there. No credible explanation exists. Some believe it is an elaborate local tradition. Others suspect someone is preserving a forgotten tragedy. And some wonder whether the shoes are connected to disappearances that were never solved. Whatever the truth may be, drivers traveling Route 18 still slow down when they see them, a silent row of shoes beside an empty road, waiting, as though they belonged to someone who never came back. If you were driving alone at night and saw a pair of perfectly placed shoes on the side of the road, would you stop to investigate? Let me know in the comments, and subscribe for the next mystery.